Guy at the
All
table.
right, Chad, Speaker Pelosi this morning is saying she doesn't have any plans to step away from Congress. We're going to watch as these leadership fights play out. She says she's not going to talk about that just yet. But we've got senators openly calling Republican senators to delay things. Josh Hawley said, old party is dead, time to bury it, build something new. A number of them out there saying it's not time to vote on our leadership. Is Mitch McConnell in any real trouble? Is Kevin McCarthy in any trouble on his way to the speakership that he hopes will happen?
Let's start with Mitch McConnell. Probably have a few Republicans oppose him here. They're going to have their leadership elections Wednesday. Senator Barrasso, who chairs the Republican conference, unless that changes, right now. And the person who was vying for that job, Rick Scott, Republican from Florida, he is the one who was in charge of the Republican reelection efforts and apparently failed. That's a problem for Rick Scott. His stock is not really high right now.
Quickly, before you move on from that, though, there are those who point to funding decisions that were made by the PAC, essentially aligned with Mitch McConnell. Money moved out of states that they will want to argue now were winnable had the money stayed there.
And Mitch McConnell, he gave himself an out over the summertime when he said this is going to come down to candidate quality. He was already saying, expressing some reservations. He had these problems with Todd Aiken and Richard Murdoch, 10, 12 years ago. Now, as to Kevin McCarthy right now, it's all about the math. If you have a narrow majority, there's a reason he did not become Speaker of the House 7 years ago when John Boehner departed. He didn't have the votes then. Some people have suggested to me that perhaps this is a rehash of 2015. Here is something that very few people know, Shannon. You had two occasions in the mid-19th century where you had two speakers of the House elected without an outright majority of the entire House. You had Hal Cobb and Nathaniel Banks. In fact, it took 2 full months to elect Nathaniel Banks.
Don't even say that.
They could pass a resolution, and this is what happened in both of those speakers' races after they got all balled up here, to elect the Speaker of the House without an outright majority of the entire House.
It can be done.
That is a possibility here. But Kevin McCarthy, he has a lot of baggage. And the other thing, to even just governing, he's going to get rid of remote voting in the House of Representatives, something that Speaker Pelosi has kept in. If you have just 2 or 3 people who are out because they're sick or somebody got in a car wreck or something, you can't pass bills. And as to Nancy Pelosi, pay very close attention to the language. She said, I intend to remain in Congress. She did not say yet that she wants to continue as Speaker or a minority leader. Let's see. She wants to see when people get back into the building and see what the vote matrix looks like. And after the attack on her husband, I was told that this may, in fact, embolden her to stay. I don't know her thinking, but I know how she thinks.